And we are back in the air with UNW Athletics, flying with DP and Ryan. We have two awesome guests with us here today, getting ready for their championship. It's our first championship of 2022, and we've got two athletes here to preview it. Ryan, why don't you introduce us and get us started off here?
Yeah, welcome to October. It is officially starting to get real. We have Kirsten, Darling, and Shane. Is it Seiffert or Seiffert? I'm just going to ask you right off the bat. Seiffert with us here in studio. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Appreciate it.
I'm glad you clarified that name because I was definitely going to say it wrong. So now we got it right, and we're ready to go. I'm sure you haven't had it mispronounced this year at all as a freshman. So, welcome to the studio, guys, getting ready for the UMAC Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to get things going, David? Do you want to ask the first question?
I would love to, and I just would love to have both you and Shane, let's start with you because you guys were both coming into the 2022 season. And men's and women's golf, you guys play the same sport, but the similarities kind of stop there. Ryan and I previewed your guys' seasons coming in. The women had so many returners off a championship team. 4 of the 5 from last year's defending UMAC championship team was back. On the men's side, it was much more new faces. And Shane, you're one of those new faces, and you've had an incredible start to your career, an incredible freshman year. Can you just give us a little bit of a run through of how the season has gone so far with so many new guys, a couple other freshmen along with you, and then some other returners who have had to play bigger roles than they did last year? How has that worked out, and how do you feel like the season's gone so far on the men's side?
Yeah, it's been good. We've kind of had a lot of different guys step into new spots this year, and you said 2 new freshmen. And then we got 2 returners that are kind of like our top 4, so that's been good. I think that it's been tough because we haven't been able to put all good numbers together yet. We've had some guys that have had some good days, some not great days, but going in towards the UMAC, I think that we're going to put it all together finally. So
that's awesome. And what's been the difference between high school golf and college golf? I mean, is there anything, or it's literally just the exact same sport? You just go out there, you're wearing a different color now.
Right, yeah. Well, I went from red to purple.
Okay, I was going to say, I said different color, but then I realized I didn't actually know where you went to high school.
Yeah, it's been, so I went to Armstrong just down the road. It's in Plymouth, Minnesota. So not too much of a difference. I actually just came off like the section tournament like 3 months ago for high school. So quick turnaround back into college. And yeah, it's been good. I mean, new team, which is great. Love the coaching staff. It's amazing. So yeah, it's been a great experience to new fresh start. So.
Well, it seems obvious that Coach Ani's going to listen to this because you gave a coaching staff shout out within the first 2 minutes. So I like that. That's smart. Kirsten, for you guys this season, it was different because there aren't a lot of new faces. It's pretty much not exactly the same, 4 of the 5 starters back, but very similar to last year. How has this season been different? How have you guys kind of distinguished yourself as a 2022 team instead of just that same exact team for 2021? Where have you guys made the biggest strides here this season?
Yeah, I mean, we had 1 new freshman come in, but in team dynamics are unreal. Best team I've ever been on. We are super close. And I think just coming off of going to the NCAA championship and stuff like that, we didn't know what we could do last year. All of a sudden we were just there and we didn't really know how we got there. We were just playing golf. And this year I think we kind of realized that we are good athletes and good golfers, and we're trying to make the most of the potential and what we can really shoot. And I think we've already showed some of that this season of just we didn't honestly know how good of athletes we were and what we could do with it, and we're trying to just make the most of it and play the best we can and go back round 2 better than ever and be able to actually know what we're going into for nationals, hopefully know what we're going into for conference, and just play the best golf that we can.
Well, you guys have certainly done that. I think the top 3 or 4 scores in program history are this group, kind of last year, and then this group this season has the school record as well. You talked about the team dynamic. What's the team dynamic like with the guys' team? I mean, you guys travel a lot together. Do you guys get along? Is there a rivalry? Can you just give us a little window into that?
Yeah, team dynamic is something else. We are definitely a special team just with traveling with girls and guys and having van rides together. We'll have one van that'll have all the guys and then maybe 2 girls in it and then a van with all girls. But we definitely come in as one big family. You can look at most of the guys and just joke around and make fun of them like they're my brothers or something and just not care. Competitions back and forth, even just on practice. We'll get practice rounds going and we're just all right, well, we'll pick 2 people, co-ed or something, and be all right, these 2 are going to beat these 2 people, or try to beat each other, and it definitely, I think, pushes us to be better, especially, coming from, like, the women's side. Like, the guys are almost always better. Like, I'll give them that. They score a lot better than us, obviously, looking at scores, but then it makes us work harder because we want to beat them, just like anyone does. So
that's awesome. And then Shane, what's it like? Obviously, you love winning an event, but when both the men and women's team win an event, how exciting is that? Like in the van ride back, the dinner after, and you guys did that a few weeks ago, winning the UNW invite and a few other times this year. So what's that like when both teams can win an event?
Yeah, that was fun. We actually just had that happen last weekend, and it was a really good time because we got to celebrate together. We had a little 2-hour van ride home, so so we were just enjoying that. And yeah, Matty placed last weekend, or she won, so we got a little hardware back in the golf room now. So yeah, it's been really fun just to get to know the girls team. And yeah, like Kirsten says, it's one big family, so it's a good time for sure.
David, you mentioned it earlier. This is the week. This is the week they've been waiting for all year long to finally get to play in the UMAC Tournament Championship, taking place later this week out at Pebble Creek in Becker. Kirsten, I'm going to have you start with this one. Just your thoughts on that course fit. How key is it for you saying, I've been there before, we know the course, I'm sure it can play differently depending on weather, but first off, what is that like to walk onto a course? It's a big moment, obviously, but to say, I have course knowledge, like maybe there could be some surprises, but for the most part, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and I mean, especially for me, just playing Pebble, it's a course that I played all through high school too, so I came into it and I've always known what to expect, how to play the course tournament style. I wouldn't say I've really had my best rounds there, but knowing the course makes a huge difference. I could tell you right now which club I'm going to pull on what tees and say the wind's coming this way or this way, I'm going to change the club just based on knowing where misses are, where I want to hit the ball, and just knowing which club to pull where, and just knowing that this course always, there are certain holes that are maybe held up and you're waiting a little bit before you can tee off, and just that mental battle to get over, like going into it like, okay, I know going to hole 2, there will probably be a weight of groups, and maybe that's my time then to mentally like reset myself. If I'm playing bad, reset and play good.
Hole 2 looks like a Black Friday line.
Okay.
I look down there. There's about 9 groups just standing there waiting. What is it about that hole that always backs it up?
There's hazard stuff both to the left and right.
Okay.
So right,
so you gotta hit it center.
You gotta hit it center. If you go right, there's always people there watching. You're pulling back, but if you go left, then even playing it preview this year, they had like a sprinkler head that wasn't working, so it's standing water. So you're searching.
It's
through,
always
like,
going down. On
there's
hole 2.
always something
There's always
going on
something.
that's just like stupid. Like, yeah, you just have to know the course, how to play that hole particularly, because it shouldn't be that challenging. But like, you look at it and it looks intimidating, so then you pull the wrong club and push it into the crab or something.
And then
All
you're
of a
even
sudden-
more mad because you just waited for 20
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, you had to wait 20 minutes to put it into a hazard.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's even worse.
Not ideal.
Shane, now switching over to you, you're obviously coming from a different angle. Just being a freshman, you haven't played in a UMAC tournament before, but I'm sure you do have some thoughts on Pebble. What do you think of that course?
Right, yeah. Pebble, it's a great course. It's a great place for the event. I feel like it's definitely a tough course, so it evens out the playing field for sure. But going into it, I definitely have some confidence, having have shot some good scores pre-conference this year. So we're just looking to go out there and just stay mentally still and, play for Jesus. So it's kind of our team memento. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Does the preparation, Kirsten, you've done this before. You've won this tournament before. You're a defending champion from 2021. Does the preparation change at all, especially when you factor in that it's a 3-day meet? How does that kind of play into it? Because usually you guys are playing a lot of times just 1 day, sometimes 2. This is kind of really the one time all season that's a 3-day meet. How do you guys kind of attack that in the week leading up to it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely knowing that because it's 3 days, it's going to be mentally challenging and tough. And, like, we need to make sure, especially coming up to this week, that we are fully recovering our bodies to be able to play for 3 days in a row. And mentally knowing that, like, just because we're playing golf and playing for 3 days, this doesn't define us at all. I think we can see, even looking back at last year, like, we got to day 3, and it was just a challenge for all of us to push through. Like, even last year, we barely came out with the lead there, but it's knowing that, like, we're playing golf, but it doesn't identify us, so we still just have to live our lives for Christ, because that's what matters, and it's preparing ourselves to just mentally face challenges with all of our teammates right beside us, and not the golf course. Like, it's us and God making a difference on the course, not we're not really against the course or against ourselves because this doesn't, in the long end, mean anything.
I love that. That's incredible. Shane, what's your mentality? You're a freshman. You're going into the UMAC Championship for the first time. What's kind of the message from the coaching staff and maybe the older players, Jackson Nias, Max Wilcox, your teammates? What have they kind of told you about the 3-day nature of this event?
Yeah, so I think for me, just, trying to go out there, it's going to be cold knowing that, so just putting 3 good numbers out there and staying positive for my team no matter how we play. And like you said, it is a 3-day event, so we are going to have, it might not be our best round one day, and we can come back the next day because it's a fresh start. So just going in there and just playing for my team and just staying positive the whole time, that's kind of what we're looking to do.
For sure. Is it going to be cold? You just mentioned that. You guys, I'm sure, are weather people just checking it.
Yeah.
Do you guys check it every hour? What's it supposed to be on Saturday or Thursday through Saturday?
I think Thursday and Friday are going to be high 40s, low 50s. Saturdays, I think it's going to be pushing the 60s, but it's going to be tough out there. Golf's a game that is not in a heated gym, so you're gonna.
Okay, I feel that was a personal attack. What's that supposed to mean? It gets. Sometimes there's a vent coming down and get a little chilly.
I mean, you can always wear a jacket in the gym, GP.
Okay, that felt like a personal attack, but I like that. I mean, I've seen every kind of weather there. I've seen in the snow where they're handing out winter hats. Last year it was beautiful. Kirsten, you can speak to that too. It was like 60s, 70s. So does that affect the way you guys play at all, kind of the weather going into it?
Yeah, for sure. The weather changes how you play, how many layers you have on, changes how you can swing, stuff like that. Way to not bring up the weather to start today. We'll bring it up for you so you guys can talk about the weather.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
We love getting the weather in there.
Yeah, it definitely is kind of disappointing when you look at the weather app and see that Wednesday it's supposed to be 70, and then as soon as we compete Thursday, all of a sudden it drops to 50. So that kind of sucks, but it's another mental battle just to face in the cold. I've played Pebble Creek when it's been snowing on us. So I feel like going into it, especially for me, I've played that course in every kind of weather. You learn how to play in layers. You learn how to put a winter jacket on, walk to your golf ball, take it off, hit your shot, put it back on, get the hand warmers, all the stuff. There's another level of even just gear that we need. Golf already, you have a lot of different gear that you need, and there's even more when it comes to cold weather.
Yeah, we go through that in basketball too sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Shane, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I just want to kind of add on that is it's funny because even when it's cold outside, your mental game's still hard, right? You're like, man, that should have been a par there if it's nice outside. But the thing you got to remember is everybody's playing in these conditions. It's fair. Everybody's on the course right now. So, a 75 might turn into a 79. A 79 might be a good score for the day. So we're just looking to keep those numbers as low as we can and just persevere no matter what the conditions are. So
that's great stuff. So I want you both to walk me through, and this is different for each and every golfer, especially going into a 3-day event. I know it's key to reset after each day, but let's think about before the first day. What's your night before ritual? What is something where you say, before a big round, I have to do this? No exceptions. Before every round, I got to, whether it's take in a certain number of swings, or I don't know, it could be something weird. You eat a certain meal, you listen to certain music, whatever it is. How do you get in that right mindset? Kirsten, you can start with this one.
Yeah, so I know for me, especially going into this next week, Wednesday night, I'm sure my roommates will yell at me too about it, but it'll just be you got to get to bed on time. I have to sleep. I will not function in the morning if I don't, stuff like that. But then for me this year, especially with the golf room that we have now, just that amazing facility, I've started going in maybe the night before a meet and just getting a couple swings in, maybe under 100 yards or so, and just kind of get dialed, end on some really good range sessions like that, so that I know waking up in the morning, I already dialed myself in, I'm ready to go. As soon as we get to the course, I've had a solid range session the night before, and I know exactly my skill level and that I'm capable of hitting good shots. If you end on a bad shot at the range session right before, you're going in with no confidence. You got to have a solid shot right before you get to the course there.
Shane, anything to add on that? Do you have a ritual that you use?
Yeah, so kind of my whole life, I've always done it. Well, like Kirsten said, I usually go to the range, I get some practice in, do a lot of short game work. That's kind of what gets my confidence going. But I always clean my clubs. It's the night before. Every single tournament I've had since I've been really young, I always get the clubs squeaky clean. You already know, but so I also like to mark my golf balls too, and then do a lot of prayer either the night before or the morning of, obviously. So
That's
that's
awesome.
kind of what
That's
I
awesome.
do to prepare.
Yep, look good, feel good, and that goes
Yeah.
for golf
Right.
clubs too. Play good, so that's awesome. How is everyone on the team different in their approach? I just golf is such a unique sport where you guys are all doing the same thing, but you guys are all doing it differently. I mean, you guys approach the game differently. Who are kind of the goofballs on the team? Like, who's out there kind of laughing and joking around, and like that's kind of how they calm themselves, especially in a championship meet? And then who is more kind of like locked in, serious? And then where do you guys kind of fall on that? We'll start with the veteran Kirsten. You've had a couple years, so we'll have you go first. Shane can kind of think about his new freshman teammates. But how do you kind of approach it, and then how are your teammates different there too?
Yeah, so I definitely approach it with the little bit more goofy side. I am always smiling. I always said, like, in between every shot, the only thing I have to think about is something that is completely off topic, not golf related. I can be walking down the fairway, and the thing I'm thinking about is where we're getting dinner that night. Like, that's what's on my mind is the food that's coming there. And I've definitely hit shots, and then we've had to, like, wait or something or waiting for somebody else to hit. And I, like, forget where I hit my golf ball because I'm so distracted thinking about something else. I also know, just going in with everyone else, like, there are some people that, like, you're just golf, you're serious, you're not really talking, it's AirPods in at their range, stuff like that, and that's how they get dialed in. I'd say a lot of our team, though, like, we just got to stay relaxed. Like, we're out there to have fun and to play the game that we love. So most of, I guess, the women's side, we're just kind of talking to each other, catching up on life. Maybe we haven't seen each other for a day or two. We're seeing, how did classes go? How did something else? And we're kind of keeping each other accountable, just knowing that, like, this golf doesn't define us, and we, no matter what we score, like, we're all friends regardless, and that it doesn't really matter. I think going in with the guys, though, like, you have some of the guys that are just hilarious and goofy at all times, and so it's like you need that balance just to remember to, like, laugh on that golf course. And I think that's also, like, going back to how the guys teams and women's team kind of relate and are different because we're, like, one team. It's that we need some of the guys of their stupidity and stupid things that they do to keep all of us women laughing and just, like, having a good time and not taking it too seriously.
Is someone going to throw Max Wilcox's name out there, or are we just going to kind of
I was thinking
talk?
more Jackson.
Okay, more
Oh,
Jackson.
we're going more
Okay.
Jackson
Okay,
Nias
more
over here.
Jackson.
We'll get to Max.
Okay, I like that.
I'll let Shane cover name by name for the
There-
guys.
there we
Like,
go.
We'll
There we go.
let Shane throw the guys under the bus.
Well, I like that. And Kirsten, you talked about the women's team. You guys love to pose for the camera too. When our sports info team's out there taking pictures, you guys all kind of have your go-to pose you love to throw up for the camera.
Oh yeah, we're ready always.
Which makes it fun for us to be out there too. Shane, anything to add on the men's side there?
Yeah, I think that we definitely we got a few different characters out on the course. There's a lot of different personas out there. I think that personally, me, I'm a little bit more focused. I like to be kind of calm. I don't like to be joking around right before I'm about to start a tournament. I don't think that that's the worst thing that can happen. Like you just said, Max and Jackson, they can get a little crazy, and I think Anthony, our other freshman's right there with them. But I'm not gonna say that I'm not. I'm always doing that at practice. We're always having fun. We're a team, right? Like one big family. But I think that for me personally, I'm more of like to put the AirPods in. Let's get zoned in, locked in. So. Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about the game. There's multiple ways to do it, which, Ryan, I know we've talked about that before too.
Yeah, absolutely. So now getting specifically to when you guys get in the thick of it, you're later on Thursday, you're into Friday, you're into Saturday. What are your goals? I mean, obviously the women's squad, you guys are coming off of a championship. Men's squad, I know you're hungry, Shane, and the rest of the guys on that squad trying to prove something this year. But what, maybe even more than just where you place this weekend, what do you hope to experience this weekend in Becker? You can start, Kirsten.
Yeah, for sure. So I know, just coming from the women's side, we want to win this weekend. We did it last year. We pulled it out last year, and we want to do it again. We have just as strong, if not stronger, of a squad going into it, more experience, everything like that. We've also had, like we said, we've had 3 top scores this year already, of 3 of us making, like, probably top 2 for Northwestern, and I think we just want a day where we can all pull that all together. We all want to have a good day at the same time. So we all have our individual goals, and as a team, we want to win. But that's just going to take staying focused and knowing that we are there to have fun, staying relaxed, knowing how we work. So we're out there to win, but we're out there really just to have fun and grow together. And then we want to put together 4 good scores all on the same day. It doesn't matter if it's really Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We want them all to be good. But if we can get all 4 of us shooting a PR one day, like that would be incredible because we're going in with a lot of momentum from last week, just a win last week where we had some really good scores, but we know we didn't play our best and we know where we could improve. So I think just coming off that momentum of knowing what to work on, we're all ready to shoot maybe 4 PRs or something like that, like 4 really good scores finally at the same time instead of maybe 2 good scores and 2 average scores. We want to get all 4 to be like our best scores.
Shane, you were talking before we officially hopped on the mics that you guys are confident. You're walking in with some swagger. Walk us into that men's team room. How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, we're feeling good. Like I said, we've kind of had some ups and downs this season. We've definitely had a few people that have PR'd this year. Obviously, me coming in as a freshman, kind of stepping in, shooting some good scores. So we're just looking to keep going forward. And for me, I just kind of want to find peace on the course. Just, like I said, play for God. That's who we're honoring out there. Play for the team and just try to put together 3 solid rounds and keep encouraging my teammates while doing it.
Well, I love hearing your guys' perspective on that. My last question for you guys before we wrap this up. We've talked a ton about the UMAC Championship, and we know that's your favorite golf event of all time. It does not get better than the UMAC Championship. What's number 2 for you guys? What, when it's on TV, you guys just have to watch? Your absolute favorite kind of pro golf event to watch on TV, just so our listeners can kind of get a little bit of an idea of what you guys love to watch on the professional level.
I can start.
Yeah, Shane, let's have you go first.
So for me, it's definitely the Ryder Cup.
Yes.
My dad's a teaching professional, so I get to go out there every year. He knows some of the players, so that's awesome. So I get to go watch, and I'm a big Justin Thomas fan, so I always got to get out there and watch my boy JT. But yeah, last year the Ryder Cup's actually back at Hazeltine next year, but the last time this year, I think it was in 2018. That was definitely my most fun golf event ever. So
besides the UMAC Championship coming up,
right? Yeah, besides the UMAC. Okay. Besides the UMAC, I mean the ones that I can't play.
Yeah,
you gotta go with
exactly.
Yeah, the ones we can't play in. I definitely think. Ryder Cup's fun. I think for me, I don't really have a specific event that I'd say is like top, but it's really just like which ones am I watching with different people. So I know we've done Masters stuff before, just as a team, where we've gone to like Coach T's house and like sat and we've all hung out and watched it, and like those are the ones that I remember. I also am a little biased with the 3M Open just at TPC up here in Blaine because I worked at TPC, so just being on that course is somewhere that I worked. I know all the employees going out there, so it's just fun to be on a course that I worked at and drove the cart all around, and just being maybe not as much there for the players, but there for the course that like holds a special place in my heart.
Absolutely. Do you have any favorite player that you'd like to share?
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. That's
besides Biliani. I mean,
always. We can do a quick shout out to my brother there, but
there we go.
He knows.
His favorite player. I like it.
Anything else that either of you would like to share? I think David and I are all out of questions, but anything else you'd like to share with our podcast audience? No?
Thanks
anything?
For having us.
How about anything about Coach Ani that someone may not know that would surprise them? What is he like on the course? What's he going to be like this weekend?
You go first.
Remember, he might hear this.
He will hear this.
There's a chance
he will hear this.
Right.
Okay. Coach Ani always wears flip-flops. I don't know if you guys know, but rain or shine.
Yep.
I'm a freshman, so I don't know, but I've heard from them stories that it'll be like 30 degrees and sleeting, and Coach will be out there in flip-flops, and I just think that is awesome. And I don't know, is like there any other like hidden talents of it or anything that we need to highlight?
Coach Ani is definitely a highlight on the course. I've played with girls. Yeah, we played my freshman year. We played UMAC preview. It was 32 degrees. It was snowing. It was freezing. Coach Ani was out there in his flip-flops, just not a care in the world. Almost every girl that I have played with, if it's cold outside, will look at me and be like, why is your coach wearing flip-flops? Just so judgmental about it. And we're just like, I don't know. It's always the same ones. It's just Coach Ani. Always with the Coach Ani snacks, too. Like, Ani snacks or something else.
If you make a birdie, you get some gushers. DPC.
Birdie gushers.
You better start making some birdies.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's the best motivation you can get. I mean,
it just doesn't get better.
that makes you hit it probably even farther. But
Yep.
no, we love Coach Ani. He came on our podcast a few weeks ago too. I would imagine he's such a calming presence out there on the course for you guys.
For sure. I
Very
would say,
relaxing.
I mean, shout out to all of our coaches, all three of them. They definitely are the best coaches that I've had and stuff like that. They're very relaxed, out there to have fun. Like some of the stuff that Coach T says just on the putting green, like, he'll read a putt for you and just be like, is that what you think it does? Like, something like that. Or if you trust it and it's not quite right, he'll be like, well, why did you trust me on that? Like, he's hilarious out there, and he is always smiling. He can be coaching the guys and not with me, but you see him across fairways, and it is a huge smile on his face, a big wave at it. Like, he's just hilarious with it, too. And Ani's the same way. Like, they're out there just to make sure that all of us are having fun and honestly not taking it too seriously. Seriously enough that, like, we are there for a reason. We're there to win competition, but not serious enough that we're, like, having a bad time or not enjoying ourselves.
That's awesome. Well, guys, you did an incredible job. Thank you so much for your time. And I know I speak for Ryan, too, when we say absolute best of luck this weekend. You guys will make us proud out there, and we are really fired up to watch. So thanks again for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
guys.
us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.